What's up, and welcome to Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, episode 98.
We are so close.
Yes!
Ah,
Well, Happy New Year. Hello,
yeah.
everybody. We are so happy to be back. And let's get into some intros because there might be some new folks here. Hello, I am Carrie Lane.
And I'm Katie Cullen.
And on this show, Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, we're going to be covering Spy Family. We also checked out Solo Leveling, Delicious in Dungeon, which also has another name. We'll go into that too, as well
Yeah.
as other anime news, all kinds of cool stuff. So stick around for all of that.
So many things happened over the holidays, you guys. We just
Oh,
we
yeah.
we, we kind of have the tip of the iceberg going on here, but there was December was quiet and then January went a little nuts.
Indeed, the year is starting off with a bang. It's taking no prisoners.
Yeah.
And we are looking over at the live chat. We have a live chat going. So hello if you're joining us live. We got Kelly Mars and we got Fawn Jack.
Hello,
Apologies
hello.
if I say anybody's names wrong. John Knight says hello ladies, happy 2024. Yes, hello, happy
Welcome
2024.
back.
Woo! And
And
if you're
if you're
watching
in from my Discord server, tell me who you are. I'm pretty sure there's a couple of you.
And the other, I was going to say too, Giga Derek, yes, welcome back. Howdy,
Yes.
humans, howdy.
Welcome back.
If you're watching this later, no worries. Comment down below on the different stuff we're going to talk about. Kelly says, I'm Heck.
Hello, Heck.
Yay. All right. So obviously we are excited. So we're starting off with things we are excited about. A huge one, if you didn't know from last night, Boy and the Heron wins for Best Animated Feature at the Golden Globes. Huge round of applause. Yay!
Wild.
Yes.
I don't think we've had, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm more familiar with Best Animated stuff as it pertains to Academy Awards, but I don't think we've had a lot of recognition for Ghibli movies since Spirited Away in terms of winning categories, not in terms of being submitted.
I think you are probably right on that one. I don't feel I've heard them in the award sphere as much since then.
They
so.
definitely make it to nominations, but there's something to be said about the Best
winning.
Animated category and the Academy Awards, and like that's a whole other. There's a history to that. We may or may not talk about that later on this show, but for now, congratulations to Studio Ghibli. That is fantastic.
Yes.
Amazing. I think it's their first Golden Globe. I think that's what it's. I could be misremembering.
Maybe?
Regardless,
yes.
Excellent, amazing.
And that's also GKids, so shout out to them also for distributing that. So that's yay. Another one of recent shows that we've talked about too, Suzume, they didn't win, but they had some amazing photos. They had the chair. They have a photo of Harrison Ford holding the chair.
It's so cute.
It's so cute.
It's so cute. Also, if you have not seen Suzume, that is streaming on Crunchyroll and highly recommended, you guys. Like, come prepared to cry, as you do, but highly recommended.
On that note too, be sure to also follow us on NTATMB over on Twitter because we'll share. I'll reshare that picture. I think I might. I know I shared it on my page. I'll share it on that one too because it's just adorable and
it really
we love seeing anime in the spotlight. Yay!
I love that they built the chair and that they bring it to the carpets. And if you, I believe we have. Don't we have an interview in our channel
have,
with?
Yes, we
you do.
I don't think we interviewed the chair, but
someone was holding it though. Like I feel like we got.
I think the director had it. So yes, if you've watched Suzume or you want to watch it and then you want to know more about it, here on the Fanversation channel, there's a whole playlist. We covered the blue carpet. It was a blue carpet for that. So check that out. We talked to the English voice actors as well as the director. And I think, I want to say the director had the chair. It made an appearance somewhere. Yeah.
Yes. There is chair. There is chair. People going, what's with the chair? Watch this.
It will make sense. Watch
just do it. Just do it. Also, the chair is adorable.
It is. So yay, anime in the main spotlight. Congratulations.
Yes.
Then we got some more news too.
We do. Speaking of things being in the spotlight, Crunchyroll launches Attack on Titan final season, the final chapters special 2 dubs. Those dropped yesterday on Crunchyroll, January 7th. It is the series finale, the dub chapters. So if you've The sub chapters dropped a little while ago. The dub chapters dropped yesterday. So if you've been keeping up with the dub, congratulations, you are now able to finish the series. In addition, Crunchyroll has commissioned artists to do posters for the series finales. Commissioned several artists around the world to create original pieces inspired by the series that's taken the world by storm for the past decade. The prolific artists include Adam Burke, Thomas von Comont, Hyun Nguyen, Marguerite Sauvage, Jacopo Camani, and Matt Taylor. And I'm sure I pronounced half of those wrong, and I apologize. I'm doing my best. The art pieces, I believe, are on Crunchyroll's social media, and we should also have those up on the Nighttime at the Nerd Bar Twitter presently. But yeah, check these out, you guys. These are absolutely breathtaking. They are so beautiful. And of course, if you are not caught up with Attack on Titan, the full series is now available, sub and dub, on Crunchyroll. So it's a heavy watch, but it's a good one. I mean, at this point, if you don't know what Attack on Titan is about, maybe have someone give you a one-sentence plot summary so you know what you're getting into in the first season. Because it's, if you're not prepared for it, it can be a doozy. I say that as someone who was not prepared for it when I started. It is excellent TV. It is also very heavy TV.
Yes. Somebody was doing, I've been seeing some threads on Twitter of people comparing like the manga to anime of like what kind of censorship happens, and some of different shows, but Attack on Titan is one. So one of them, it's like this will give you all an example. Somebody like gets a sword in their mouth, and in the manga it goes out through the eye socket, and then in the anime it's just into the mouth, and I'm like, well, that's a bit different.
Oh my god.
I was like, oh. So yes, it's very gory, y'all, if you didn't know.
You can do a lot of fun stuff in the manga that you may not necessarily be able to do in the anime for animation reasons, for you can't put that on TV in this time slot reasons, or if you're JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, for copyright nightmare reasons. But that's more of a naming convention than anything else, really.
Looking over in the chat, John Knight says, I got Crunchyroll 3 months premium card for Christmas. Awesome.
Hell yeah. Treat yourself.
Yes. Go get those brand new dropped episodes and everything.
Speaking of brand new dropped episodes on Crunchyroll and Crunchyroll Premium, we have the Crunchyroll Winter Season 2023 calendar. I'm not going to read you everything that's on here because, guys, there is so much stuff, and this is just premieres for simulcasts. Dub announcements are coming separately. Of course, as we all know, Solo Leveling dropped on the 6th not yesterday. I can do dates on Saturday, and we'll be talking about that a little later in this broadcast. So if you have not seen Solo Leveling, we're one episode in so far. It's easy to catch up. It's been fun. One Piece is heading into the final saga with the all-new Egghead Island arc. That also started on Saturday. We have a brand new original sci-fi series from Studio Bones for their 25th anniversary. That is Metallic Rouge, premiering on the 10th, so in a couple days. And then Frieren Beyond Journey's End is continuing to drop episodes on Friday. Some of our other premieres include Burn the Witch, Classroom of the Elite Season 3, Sasaki and Peeps, which I have heard excellent things about Sasaki and Peeps. If you are an isekai or reverse isekai person, it sounds like this may be the show for you. Of course, One Piece, Solo Leveling, Mashle is back for Season 2, Blue Exorcist has a new season. Golly, guys, there is just so much stuff. It's an 8-page document. It's an 8-page document. I'm not giving you everything on here. But just tune into Crunchyroll, follow their social media, and of course, just tool around in the recommended for you channels. Yeah, Tsukimichi Season 2 is dropping on, January 8th, so I believe that's today, isn't it?
Yes, that is today.
What day is it?
Today.
But yeah, we have new fantasies, we have new isekai, we have continuing series all throughout this month. And just keep an eye out on Crunchyroll social media and definitely check out the app. They've got all sorts of fun stuff in there.
Nice. Giga Derek says, I've been loving Frieren and very much recommend.
It's definitely on my list. My understanding of it is that you need to be prepared to cry is that it's something of a
Like,
meditation of grief and life beyond grief. And that is honestly fantastic. And my God, I've been watching clips. The art style and the animation are unbelievably good. I just don't think I'm ready to be hurt like that yet.
It's on my list. Also,
Oh, yeah.
I've been curious about Classroom of the Elite, as I've heard a sound on TikTok be used from that. And then I was like, where is this from? And it's like Classroom of the Elite. So I was like, ooh, I am curious because like it was a fun sound bite, but we'll see.
I've
What are you
heard
all watching on Crunchyroll? Let us know.
I am watching Shangri-La Frontier, and we'll talk about that later in the show because I fell in love with that anime. Oh my God, it's so good.
I was gonna say I caught up with Yami Shibai. I was excited to see an entire new season, and for y'all who haven't checked it out, they're 4-minute episodes, so you can get through it real fast. And going back into Rise of the Shield Hero, so
All
I was
right.
catching all up on that. And then yes, we love this. See this? John Knight says my anime list is growing. Yes.
Put Shangri-La Frontier on it. It's real good. It's real good.
All right, and some other things to check out. Where did it go? Yes, okay. Something else to be checking out is going to be manga and Blu-ray release coming your way. So this will be the popular Ragna Crimson. It depicts extreme battle between absolute powerful dragons and humanity. This series, which is so popular, is overwhelming quality and profound story has attracted many overseas fans and won first place weekly overseas anime ranking sites for 2 consecutive weeks. Will start airing a second season January 13th. So there will be a Blu-ray release, a new season, so that's exciting. And there's a new trailer coming out. It's now just been released. And in addition, details of the illustration and manga drawn by the original author including the booklet, will be in the Blu-ray box released on February 14th. So early Happy Valentine's Day, announcing that. So that's pretty awesome. We will share those images over on our Twitter too. So if you are a fan or if you want to check out Ragna Crimson getting a second season coming very soon.
It looks like it's on Hulu and Prime.
Awesome. Thank you. I was like
among other places,
Yes.
but Hulu and Prime are like the big subscription services it's on.
All right.
Yeah,
And then you had one other, we had some more news, or I think that was it.
I did things out of order.
Yes, that's all right.
I got confused and went, wait a minute.
Well,
that's on me. Big Monday energy.
That's right.
The first big Monday energy of the year.
Speaking of confusion, we have some fun confusion in these episodes. Okay.
I thought we were only going to have one Spy Family episode. We have 2. Also, for the new people in chat, hello. This is where we get into the point where we start talking about the anime that we are covering on the show. We have the last 2 episodes of this past season of Spy Family, which ended in December. We will then be going into the first episode of Solo Leveling and the first episode of Dungeon Meshi. So, we have not read ahead for any of these. We have not done manga, manhwa, light novel, none of it. So we ask that you keep the chat and the comments spoiler free in terms of manga spoilers, but feel free to discuss the episodes because we'll be discussing the episodes and we'd love your input.
And if you're not caught up on that particular title while this is up, you can mute or fast forward later on and then get to the show that you were up to date, or come back when you've watched it.
The lower thirds will be updated accordingly. So keep yourself spoiler free, watch stuff, and then come back and be like, hey.
You're like, yes, I'm up to date now. I got up to date because I had not watched it yet. And I've said it before, I'm not as much of a huge fan of the more filler episodes, but these were very funny. So funny. I don't know what was different this time, but damn, Inappropriate Becky was adorable.
My roommate and I were in hysterics during the Becky episode. She is just, again, she's this very tiny child. She's probably 6. Given that 6 is how old you're supposed to be to get into the school, and we think Anya's a little younger than that, but oh my God, just watching these romances, and there's nothing wrong with a kid watching romances, but
Yeah.
maybe she should be watching them with a responsible adult and not alone in a room. You
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily want your 6-year-old watching Days of Our Lives by themselves, and that's kind of what she's watching is
I was
Days of
like,
Our
ooh, that's
Lives
dope.
as the
Yep.
world turns, like putting that in
Uh,
context.
but you know what? A for effort, Becky.
Oh
A for
yeah.
effort.
Oh.
She full on committed.
And Lloyd's just fishing for information because he's in
Yeah.
work mode and then going, all
Oh,
right, maybe not.
woo!
And
And then,
just,
oh
man,
no. This
oh
is
my God.
back to your comment of there are no brain cells between them. I love Lloyd not getting it at all until he's like, oh, ooh, no. Mm-mm. And then you're not getting it all until it was clearly stated to her. And even then, she's just like, whatever, I'm just glad you're okay.
Yeah. But you're also taking like just everything at face value. So
Yes.
Becky doing the whole, oh, I'm a little drunk thing, like she's seen on TV, like Lloyd going, obviously this is not the case.
Yeah.
It's tea. And you're going, I've made a terrible mistake. I have given a child alcohol poisoning. Like, sweetie,
Oh,
no.
no.
Sweetie, no.
It was
And
so
Anya,
funny.
who could settle all of this, instead just going, no, if we live with Becky, we can have private chefs make our every meal
You
because she's
know.
super rich. Why
Yeah.
not? I'm here
Uh,
for that.
Also, the slight snubs of Becky getting the tour and Anya going,
Love
never
the
mind,
tour.
tour's over.
Oh, this is smaller than my dog's doghouse. Don't you get? Can you breathe in here?
She's like,
Let's not have a tour anymore.
No. So it was just precious and adorable. It was so funny. I was laughing
Oh
so
yeah,
much. Because then we all,
disaster Becky taking down her hair because like, oh, that's sexy, right?
yes.
Like, child, you are 6. You are
Oh,
6.
stop it.
You
Stop
are
it.
6.
Hmm.
Yeah, just misunderstanding central, but really, really funny.
Yeah. And it's a nice, like, if you think of reality, it could definitely get far more creepy and gross, but like this really captured the innocence and adorableness of it,
Yeah.
and there you just get a good time.
And
Uh
I mean, kids get crushes on teenagers and kids get
that's
crushes on
true.
adults
Yeah.
all the time.
Yep.
This is normal. This is a part of development. It just got a little out of hand here between the soap opera influence and Anya egging her on
Yeah.
and
Being her
God
wing
bless
woman.
Lloyd
She's
having
like,
just no experience with any of this and not
no.
cottoning on that, like, oh, it's a 5-year-old with a crush.
Hmm.
Just not having the context for that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is the sort of thing that happens all the time, but this is the disaster quartet and it's beautiful.
Yes. I have no doubt Becky will get whoever she desires later. She has initiative.
Oh,
She
yeah.
shows up. She's gets her way in somewhere she wants to be, and is like,
Oh,
"Yes, I'm doing all the things."
yeah. And just,
Can I come over?
I,
I'm here. I'm already here.
yeah. I did love the insight
Uh,
of like her butler, her bodyguard, I can't remember her name, but
yeah,
Becky's employee, as
yeah.
it were. And Lloyd just watching her and going, she's a former soldier who's been in a lot of battles. You can tell from her
Mhm.
demeanor, and just like that was for the benefit of the audience. Oh
Mhm.
boy. Nothing but the best for Becky, right? Of
Also, I
course, her
feel like
family would want her taken care of.
yes, and then that lady going, let's not commit adultery.
Rolling on the floor of someone else's house is rude, miss.
She's like, stop it.
Please get up.
Uh, I also it was something interesting. I thought this could be an a character development for your getting another younger person looking up to her because she's like, "Oh, you want to learn from me?" And she seems so happy and enthused about it. Like, "Yes, I'll teach you martial arts. Let's go, kid."
We need a
So
girls' afternoon with the two of them and
yes,
Anya.
yes,
Give me that disaster
we're
outing.
like, "Let's get strong." You're like,
Let's
oh,
go.
so cute, precious.
Mhm.
Which leads us into the second episode. Bond. Okay, as a dog owner of a fluffy dog,
No, we had a second half to this episode. We
I
had
know, but
a you
oh,
don't want to talk about Nightfall?
yeah, her crush thing. Well, it blended over because we see her in the next one,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Nightfall's crush also Silly lady.
It's a day in the life of Nightfall. I did
Yeah.
appreciate that they put her mission, the compare and contrast between her mission and Twilight on the cruise that wound up really not being relaxing for anybody involved. And just the comparison of the him attempting to relax and her
Yeah.
getting prepped, and then both of them winding up in full mission mode for one reason or another. Like,
Yes.
I did like that. I'm still a little tired of her. Like, she needs a life.
Yes.
She and oh my god, yours brother Yuri.
Yeah.
She and Yuri
Him too.
both need a life outside of their particular obsessions, but like it was still a fun little filler bit. Again, I do appreciate when we have the comparisons. I do appreciate when we flesh out other characters. I appreciate what we see in Handler with her going, "No, we're trying to kind of even out the
I
workload."
don't want to
I
overwork them.
don't
Oh,
exactly.
we love an employer who's like that, right?
We love an employer who gives a damn.
Mm,
And
mhm.
also, like, if you overwork your spies and they make a mistake and then they get caught, you don't have them anymore.
Yes.
So
Slightly problematic. Just a little bit.
which,
A little bit.
we had that at the very beginning of the series with, well, why don't we pick another spy for Twilight to be partnered with? Well, they keep getting caught. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
think that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So yes. Okay.
Yes.
Because I was just so excited about
Bond.
it. As a dog owner of a fluffy dog shrinking in size when they're wet is so true.
The sounding different was hysterical though.
That
He
was
was
really funny.
basically quacking.
And I like they called it out too. They're like, "Why do you sound different?" I'm like, "I like that they pointed out," but and then it was a little puggy, and I've had
Yeah.
pugs too, so I was like, so this
So
episode was a little bit of distress of dogs in danger, but then we get our soggy wet dog and our cute little puppy, and I was like, "This is such a good episode."
so this whole episode just went straight for you then.
Yes, it was like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
and rescue the. Oh, that was so funny, and I thought the communication skills with Lloyd and Bond was great. Of like,
Mhm.
let's, I'm gonna talk with you, and him trying to understand his dog, which I also just love that. So I'm like, yes, I feel so seen on this episode because
Yeah.
I 100% talk to my dog like a normal person. Like,
Oh yeah.
okay, we were having full conversation, and yes, you were responding to me. But poor Bond's like, wait, I'm just trying to help.
Well, and Frankie
Um,
also making the point of like dogs see
mhm,
this as play. If you don't make it
mhm.
fun for them, they won't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like there's incentivization there. I do this, I get rewarded,
Yep.
which is how training works generally. So the
Works with
fact
people
that
too.
oh my god, yes. I have gleefully told my coworkers that I can be bribed with food.
Mm,
And I'm the IT human, so there's always a coworker going, "Please help." So
nice.
like, yes, I can absolutely be bribed with food. Are you kidding me?
Mhm.
It's how I live. Uh, but yeah, this, and you can also see Twilight bringing his very workhorse on all the time mentality
Mhm.
to the dog training, and then realizing, oh, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
He may be an intelligent dog, but he's still a dog.
Yeah.
So there's,
Poor
yeah.
traumatized dog too.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
yes.
abused dog in a way, as well, but I'm
His
glad
whole
he's
family's traumatized.
I
Yours is the least traumatized.
she's the most well-adjusted one of the whole
Weirdly enough.
yeah. I like though too when Bond said when Bond is told, "We need to make you feel like you're part of the family." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, baby." It's like,
Yeah.
"Don't worry, you're part of that family." And then also the like if you die, someone at home is waiting for you. That also I was like, "Oh,
Yes.
I'm like, don't do this to me." But yeah, I thought that was very funny and heartwarming, and so
Yeah.
I felt that was a nice way to. I think that this is the end of this bit,
Yeah. Season.
and now
Yes.
we wait for the movie.
Mhm. I did
Which
like our
we did.
little post credits montage of
Yes.
pretty much everyone and showing you what are they
Yeah.
up to, how are they
Mhm.
doing at this point. Like it
Yes.
was a very sweet way to end things.
Yeah. I do not want those radioactive whatever purple muffin things that Yuri had from Yor. I thought that was pretty
Nope.
funny.
Nope.
I was like, those are glowing. Like those have a no. But good for
But
him
they're
trying
from
to
his
eat it.
precious sister,
Yeah,
so
that he lives. Yeah. Yeah, that montage was a great way to be like, all right, here is that button to what we're watching right now, and
Mhm.
put pause in it. We'll come back later. So,
We've had an eventful season, and we'll see you next time. We'll
yeah,
see you in the movies.
exactly. Alrighty. I think if anything else on before we move on, I feel that kind of covered it,
I
right?
just love this
Yeah,
show. It's so much fun.
it's
It's
adorable.
ridiculous and it's heartfelt, and I love it.
So reverse chasing. We go
Oh,
dark
yeah.
AF with this
Oh,
one.
we have Chaser Shot Chaser.
Yes.
Yeah, I
We
was
are
not
covering this
sure.
show, y'all. If you have not
Yes,
watched it,
welcome to
same idea.
solo leveling. So
Woo!
I want to read because Crunchyroll has been very much doing, hey, this is coming out, hey, this is going to be big. And I believe
Yes.
the manhwa was on Webtoon or is still on Webtoon
Mhm.
and was huge for them. One of their biggest, like Lore Olympus levels of big, like one of the big ones
And it's
for
a Korean
Webtoon.
one, right?
Yeah.
So we covered that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I want to read the blurb, the marketing blurb that Crunchyroll provides, because the
Mm.
first episode only gets about halfway through this, which I find hilarious. They say whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but that's not the case for the world's weakest hunter, Sung Jin Woo. After being brutally slaughtered by monsters in a high ranking dungeon, Jin Woo came back with the system, a program only he could see, that's leveling him up in every way. Now he's inspired to discover the secrets behind his powers and the dungeon that spawned them. So at the end of the first episode, he's still very much alive. So this this is kind of what I love about the marketing blurbs. Like, okay, here's the premise. Let's go. And then we get into this first episode and it is so much world building, and that's not a bad thing. I love the world building.
Yes.
And then getting
Very
into, and
interesting.
here's who he is and here's how he thinks and here's the start of this. But I appreciate the hell out of this.
Mhm.
There's in a lot of fantasy and a lot of, let's be real, anime fans our age who have been anime fans long enough, we were raised on shonen. We were raised on the Toonami block. Like, that is a lot of what we know. There is a lot of power systems and a lot of leveling up and getting stronger to beat the next villain and shonen tropes. So when we have it's another fantasy meets reality. Portals start opening up, dungeons and monsters start appearing, conventional weaponry does nothing to them. So instead, we have these people whose magic powers start awakening. And the twist in this being that once you have your powers, that is it. That is the level you are at, full stop. There is nothing you can do to make them stronger. It is completely cutting off shonen power systems at the knees. And I love it. It's just, I'm sure it's not the only one that's done this, but it's so new and different. Like,
It
I
feels
just
like a
love
fresh
it.
take. But
It
and also
is.
it being a normal world and this is like a job people do. I also felt that was I don't that might be another ones too, but I haven't seen that as much. So I like cuz normally it's we're only real world or we're only in it. So I like that this like I go about my normal day, but then I'm going to go into fantasy world and like destroy stuff. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I like
Yeah.
the we're getting that variety." And then yes, half of that description is there cuz I'm like, "That didn't happen yet."
I know, right? But that's been like all the marketing blurbs, all the press, all the I'm gonna need a shot of tequila for this. Just the one?
Yes, Giga Derek. Yes, just one. I like that
Only if
we
okay, we gotta say it. Only if you are of a legal drinking age in your location. Please drink responsibly. 1 glass of water for every drink you have to avoid a hangover. This is how we do.
we are nighttime at the Nerd Bar, but we want to keep you safe and keep you
Yeah.
responsible, but we still have a good time.
We want to
Uh,
keep you sober enough that an Uber driver will feel okay about letting you in their car, all right?
do not throw up in the car.
Like,
No.
we're here to have fun. We're not here to be we're here to be messy
Yes.
about the shows, not messy
Yes.
about anything else.
I like that this show goes hard right away and is violent, and you're like, oh fuck. Okay. I like that stakes are high right away
Oh
too.
yeah.
Like, no, we don't play. Like,
And it's
okay.
giant ants is the first monster we see. It's multiple flavors of giant
Yeah.
ants. And I'm just sitting here going, that's so much fun though. That is like 50s B movie. God,
Mhm.
what's the I can't remember what video game it was. It was like Red Scare or Red Tactics, you know, the one with Tim Curry yelling space, has an extra level where instead of fighting other armies, you're fighting ants, giant ants, like a, again, 50s B movie. There used to be one in the Fry's before Fry's unfortunately
Mhm.
closed. So, you know,
And
and
yes.
I love that that's what we start with.
Yeah, it's something
That's fun
big.
to me.
And the giant statues make me think a little bit of Neverending Story.
I
Laser
love
beams.
I want to go into that dungeon a
Mhm.
little bit later. Like I really
Mm.
want to dig into that, but I
Hmm.
want to talk a little more about like off the bat and the power system of the monsters first. Like, yes, I have
Gotcha.
things to say about that dungeon. But for those who joined when we were
Here is your
covering Spy
soapbox.
Family and who haven't seen me losing my mind over Overlord and Demon Slayer, welcome to hell. I have an English degree and a propensity for tearing stories apart, looking for the world building. So let's do this. Oh, we've got the whiteboard, we've got the pinboard prepared and everything. Uh, yes. Again, I love this world building. I love this power system. I do love the violence right off the bat because, again, we talk about Overlord and how much I love that. Overlord didn't show its teeth until about the third episode, at which point I was very much already invested and not about to back out. And I do not regret that investment. But I also do like when a show shows me right away, like, this is what you're in for. Because I can only handle a certain level of gore and this is
That's fair.
within it, but
Mhm.
towards the edge of it. Like
Yeah.
I cannot handle, say, Tarantino movies.
Yeah.
Is that's beyond my threshold, unfortunately. So knowing right off the bat, like, okay, this is what we're in for, but it's not all this, but it has the potential for that. I do love that it gives us just here's the first 3 minutes, here's what you're looking at. You good? You with us? All right, let's get the government in on this. And I did love that half of this episode was going into the governmental side of things because
Mm.
this is such a big part of society now that we're talking about how these crystals that can be recovered from dungeons and recovered from higher level monsters, how the government is trying to figure out how to use them as a power source, how to generate electricity and
Which
clean
makes
energy
sense.
from these
Yeah.
crystals. Yeah, and then how that can also be forged into weapons that hunters
That
can
also
again
makes sense.
use to yeah.
Mhm.
So I and how we have a hunters guild and how once people have their powers and are tested to see what level they're at, that they're immediately recruited by guilds if they look like they have promise. Just it's almost like military recruitment or college recruitment and honestly might be every bit as predatory depending on what we
Mhm.
see later on in the show, which again intrigues me because our protagonist is about to become a lot more shonen protagonist. And now that we've seen the structure of the government as relating to hunters and guilds and whatnot, I'll be very interested to see how they approach him
Mm. Mhm.
because he's known to be nothing. In
Well,
a
questions
world of
how
campfires and bonfires, he is a candle. So,
questions, can you tell what somebody is just by looking at them? And would he have to disclose this information? Can he do it secretly and they don't know? Because, is this a thing where it's a world where I could look at you and see what level you are, like an indicator or color of number or something, or
I don't
scan
think
them.
so.
So I'm kind of curious, like how we'll tell. I've been watching a lot of Rise of the Shield here, but he's the only one
Yeah.
who can look at somebody and know what levels they are.
Yeah.
And like other people within unless you're a special person, you can't see that if you haven't watched that show. Like if you're
That's
a regular,
also a campfire cooking skill is having the assess
yeah.
skill and seeing people. I
So,
think what we have for this, just judging from what we saw on the guild
hmm
half of things, it looks like we had a group of new people in for assessment. And
hmm
then once they were assessed, and it was okay, you're a rank C, you're a rank B, and they were released into that room that had the recruiters waiting. So it seems to me like
maybe,
there is a system here.
or you
I
wear
don't,
something, maybe. Like I wonder if
I
they wear a
think
badge or something.
I think there's records. I don't think there's a visual indicator that anyone has because the rating group we saw
Yeah.
were in like armor, casual clothes, track clothes. I think it's a reputation thing.
Because then I'm
If
wondering
you're
if
the
he's
best of
gonna
the
keep
best or
it
the,
secret.
I think people will notice when
That's true.
he stops getting his ass kicked by every low-level goblin that comes his way.
Unless he's doing a lot of things by himself, thus solo
Solo
leveling.
leveling, yeah.
We'll
Or
see.
being the only person who's
Who
able to
levels.
level
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Solo leveling.
Yeah.
Because the other thing we see, and I cannot remember her name, but we get the prologue with like that really good group that we see. We see a bunch of like D rank people failing to fight giant ants, and then we see, I
Mhm.
think they're A tier or S tier, a group. But we also see whom I believe is the individual best hunter. We have that blonde woman who essentially stops a mugging and then gets the hell out of Dodge. We had that little interval in the middle. So I don't think that introduction was for nothing. I think we're going to see a lot of bouncing between him and her. And
Mhm.
who knows? Who knows? We are not past the first episode yet. My dude has yet to die. So we'll see what happens.
But yeah, so
But
far I
yeah.
dig it. I'm
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
excited to see more of this one. And yeah, as you were saying too, like changing that power structure feels such a nice refresher
Yes.
because I'm getting a little isekai out. Just a little bit. I'm like,
This is why I'm watching Shangri-La Frontier, because it scratches that itch without really. And this
and
isn't
nothing
an
against
isekai
isekai.
or a
It's
reverse
one of those.
isekai.
No, it's
Yeah.
it's the going into the dungeon worlds and like
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
another
But I
genre.
mean,
But
like,
I'll watch that on my own.
he could he could quit and
It's
have a
true.
normal
We'll
job.
see. Yeah,
Like,
that'd be a
that's
boring show.
that's part of what I'm looking at here is like there is a whole modern world out there,
Yeah.
and you are known, you are the litmus test for this is going to be an easy dungeon.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of these like C and D rank people coming together for a low level dungeon because they can handle it. One guy's like, "Yeah, I retired until my wife got pregnant with our second child, so I need to make some cash, so I'm back." Like, it's a day job sort of thing or a
And
freelance sort of
part-time.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freelance.
And for our protagonist, it seems to be the only thing he can do to make money. I would
Yeah.
imagine if you can get some of those crystals and sell them, you can actually start making bank. But I
Mm.
also think that is an upper echelon sort of thing. Because
Yes.
the crystal we see him get from the
His knife
goblin in this
candle.
episode, and he also says it's his first. He's
Yeah.
never managed to get one before.
And his sword thing broke too, so
His knife broke.
yeah.
He brought a knife to he brought a knife to a goblin fight and it did not survive. So he is
Yeah.
unarmed, and they beat the boss, and usually from what they've been saying, once they beat the dungeon boss, after about an hour the dungeon collapses, which generally gives you enough time to loot and leave. It's very
Yeah.
video game mechanic. And then they find a separate tunnel, take a
Mhm.
vote on whether they want to keep going or bail. Because if they bail and they report back, then it gets checked out, and another party, potentially higher level if it looks more dangerous, gets sent in. So it's the do we want to try and check it out and presumably get more prizes for ourselves because there's been no loot in this dungeon, or do
Mhm.
we want to not die?
Yeah.
And he is our I have to look up the name. I'm so bad at names. Yeah, Sung Jin Woo, our protagonist, is the deciding vote. And he
Mhm.
comes down on the side of, sure, let's go check it out. This dungeon, this just smacks of hidden boss in a game. This is the
Mm.
Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts. You came back to the Coliseum, you did the special thing, you went back to the arena, and all the doors close, and you're stuck in there with the level 999, whatever the hell monster it is, going, I did not bring enough potions for this. And just, I want to know what was on that slab. Because it's that ring of extremely tall statues, including the taller than the other ones, looks like a ruler almost, with the Jesus eyes that follow you everywhere. But they were reading off of a slab about religious worship.
Mhm.
It was,
That was interesting. It was like, "Wait, go back and say it again. What?" Yeah.
I think that's the rules on how to survive this dungeon. I think
Mhm.
that's what you need to do. And I think that they don't understand that and that they've broken them already. And that's why people
Mhm.
have started dying and traps have started activating.
Yeah.
I
I think you're
also
right there.
think that they are going to figure out how to get out, but, given our paragraph that we got here. Our guy is going to get left behind because he's going to get McMurdered and everyone is going to bail so it doesn't happen to him. And because it happens in this religious space, like whatever is going on here behind the scenes, that's when we wind up with the system. That's when we wind up with all of this. And it was because he was left behind, either dead or to die.
Mhm.
Probably already dead, because I don't think his healer friend would have left if he weren't done.
Yeah.
But the other thing we get, and I'm talking your ear off. Please feel free to be like, no, I have
I was gonna say, I'm like, so far so good. I'm like,
we're having fun.
I
do love that they made a point of, because he can't face things head on, because he is the weakest hunter out there. He's probably the only E rank who is actually doing dungeons instead of going, oh, I'm an E rank. Nah, we're getting a job at McDonald's for now, and then we'll figure our lives out. Forget that noise. But the way he approaches things, he has to approach them sideways. He has to lie in wait and wait for an opportunity. He has to be able to do things like recognize attack patterns, recognize intent. And that is what is helping keep people alive as much as they can in this dungeon that is springing traps and puzzles on them. And I love that, because I've never been very fond of the Kiritos of the world. I've never been very fond of the, I show up and I'm amazing at everything. I hate the overpowered shonen protagonist. It drives me crazy. It's been a thing for a while. I like to at least see them work for it. Again, Shangri-La Frontier. But that's also why I love what we're seeing here so much, because it's not just, oh, he gets this program and he gets to be the best. It's, we already see that he has to think sideways in order to survive. We already see that he's got those analytical skills and that he's had to cultivate those analytical skills. He's not naturally good at any of this. He has had to work for it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's going to come back around when we get the reincarnation. When he gets revived, it's not reincarnation. Words. When he gets revived, when he gets the system, when he starts doing this, that ability to look for opportunities and to make his own way is going to come in. I'm just really excited for this. Like, it's got such a pedigree. Everyone's super into it. And I'm like, great. Where are the other episodes? I'm not going to go read the manhwa because we're covering the anime here. I'm not going to go put that in my eyeballs yet because I don't want the spoilers. But oh my God, where is the rest of it? Put it in my eyeballs now. I'm so excited for this world building and for this cast of characters. Gimme.
I'm blanking on it right now, but I want to say somebody was saying though that the way this is done, we're all on the same page on this one.
In what way?
It's like, hold on while we think of it. Or maybe it was for a different show, because it was, because Jasmine did a video on it.
Yes. For those of you who aren't following Jasmine Joestar on Instagram, you should be. She's incredible.
I'm like, okay, so it's manhwa. And they're like manga.
Yes.
One big difference, instead of being Japanese, it's Korean.
Yes.
It's not available like manga. There is no manga elitism. I mean, everybody's on the same page, gets the same surprise, no spoilers. Per what her video is.
I had thought it was a webtoon.
I misunderstood that, but yes, go watch her video over on Instagram, Jasmine Joestar. And then
I could have sworn it was a webtoon, and that's why it's got such a huge following behind it, is that people already know it.
That's a good question. So
I don't know, man.
No. It's one of those, like, when there's a lot of different things and it's involved, it is a bit like, wait, which one is this one? If you are a fan and knew about it before the anime, let us know your thoughts on how it's come over to the anime. And then I'm like, we can look into it more. But I was like, I hadn't known about that till I watched her video, and I was like, but she went to the special premiere event, so I figured, so maybe like was other information.
I figured the premiere probably was the first 2 or 3 episodes. It feels like that kind of thing, you know? But yeah, and again, if you've already read the manhwa, if you already know, spoiler free, please.
Yeah. All right. I feel you summed it up, and I'm like, nope, you sounded great. Then I'm like, I'll just...
No, I've talked your ear off on it.
I just I mean it's a little hard to really get too much thoughts on it just yet because it's still like the first. And that's one thing I dislike about new anime is I'm like, damn, Natalie, we gotta wait for another one, especially if it is like, what? This
Yeah,
is so
this
cool.
one,
That's all I got right now. Okay, fine. I'll wait.
given
I'll wait.
that we didn't even get to the main premise in this
Yeah, that
episode,
too. It's like
I wish that they'd done a double release
that would have been cool. Like have
in the
a
same way that Demon Slayer
yeah,
does, where it's like, yeah, the
yeah,
first episode's an hour. Go
yeah.
nuts.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Which stay tuned if you are also new here. We will be covering Demon Slayer when that comes back. So
Yeah, and that's coming
yeah,
back. I don't remember.
pretty
I
soon.
know there was next season, I want to say,
Yeah,
right?
coming soon.
I don't think we have a, yeah.
I don't think there's
But
a date
yeah,
just yet.
also,
Alrighty.
we do need to say that Solo Leveling is A1 Pictures
Yes,
because
it is
dang,
gorgeous. It is so gorgeous.
dang.
Everything looks good. That was all.
And watching it like, oh no, you can and I'm pretty sure also one of the directors of SAO. So
Oh,
someone who
maybe
is
yeah,
experienced. I
yeah.
have the Crunchyroll press release. We came
Thank you for having
prepared.
that open.
Yeah, I do my best. Yeah, series is directed by Shunsuke Nagashige from Sword Art Online.
Sweet.
Yeah, animated by A1 Pictures with motion
Yes.
graphics by Production IG, who did Attack on Titan and
Yes.
Haikyuu. So
Gorgeous.
that's your
Gorgeous.
CGI and your compositing.
Yep.
Your
Ugh.
compositing is every bit as important as your animation, because for those who don't know, essentially compositing is, do your 3D effects work with your 2D background?
Give me more
Does it
Haikyuu.
look like it's one cohesive piece?
Yes. And Haikyuu is also Haikyuu and Attack on Titan, very different movement, but both the way people move and everything and how you
Yeah,
follow that movement is so
yeah.
like feast for the eyes, which I'm also speaking of feasting, uh
While we're talking about animation studios, Studio
and Studio
Trigger.
Trigger. I'm like, oh, go
Just watching it
figure.
and going, just that first bit with the dragon and the eye opening. It's like, oh yeah, this is Studio Trigger.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you
Uh
can tell.
this one is definitely on the lighter side of things. I was made the mistake of watching it hungry and I'm like,
Oh no.
oh man. This just makes me kind of grumpy because everything looks so good, and I don't care if it was some bug off the wall or slime or moss. Damn, they make it look good. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to eat,
I
please.
want Scorpion Hot Pot with mushroom
Right,
monster
that looks
mushrooms.
like a juicy, like lobster kind of
Oh yeah.
meat. I was so ready for. I'm like,
I
damn
mean,
it.
lobsters are sea bugs,
Yeah,
so
same idea. Close enough. I'll take it. But yeah, we don't get too much with this one just yet, but it does seem cute, light. I like
did you
our chef dude who joins them.
did you
And like
watch it sub
Beard Man.
dub?
Sub.
Okay, I watched the dub. And I do appreciate that for the subtitles for the dub, Netflix did take the dub script and put it in, like, did
Oh,
dub
nice. Good,
subtitles. And
good.
I think they call them dub titles when I don't know if they use that same set of subtitles for the sub. I
Oh,
don't
sure.
think they did because watching the trailer for the dub, they were using the subtitles and it didn't match what was being said. So I
Hmm.
was worried that was going to be the entire experience, but that was not the case. And I do appreciate that
Yeah.
because I have my subtitles on for
Mm.
everything I watch if they're
Oh, yeah.
available,
Oh,
just
yeah.
because. There were
We
some instances in the subs where they were incorrect, like
ah,
someone misheard what the dub actor was saying and it changed the meaning of the sentence. Not enough to be confusing or off putting, just enough to be like, all right.
also, if you are new here, this is a dub versus sub safe space.
Mm-hmm.
There is no versus. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
you want to watch is fantastic.
We
And it's
understand that everyone has different preferences
yeah.
and different needs.
Yes.
That if you have auditory issues, you may need the subtitles. And if you have dyslexia or other, yes, you may want the dub. And
Mhm.
there is absolutely nothing wrong with any of that. You
Yeah.
do what fits you best. And maybe you just have a cast preference. Like,
That
not
too.
gonna lie, I watched the dub because it came up, and I watched the dub because Song Won Cho is voicing Senshi, the dwarf. And he's so good.
I love him.
He's so good.
I think he's my favorite character already. Like he
Oh,
has
he's
the
perfect.
best vibes for traveling. He is calm, collected, pleasant demeanor. He's ready to go,
Knows
and
his
he's
stuff.
resourceful. Yeah, he's super resourceful, and he's not rude about like, oh, you don't know how to do this. He's like, oh, well, actually, here's all these main things we can. I'm like, yes, this guy's so I like immediately like this guy.
This is a guy who has a very, very niche interest that
Yeah.
the rest of the world thinks is really weird. And he found another person who's like, I share your interest. And he's like, oh my God, a new person. Oh, you're new at this. Okay. Yeah, let's work together. I can totally help you out with this. I know exactly what I'm doing. Let's go. Let's go.
I
Just
also like
yeah, he's chill, he's a vibe, but you can also tell there's someone in him going, same hat.
I just like too that he's like, I want to cook a dragon. I'm like, you know what? That's a very good goal. Like,
Life
sure,
goals.
yeah, big goal. I
Cook the
like it.
cooker.
Uh, the other thing about it too that's an interesting aspect is this is even though it's like on the lighthearted,
Yeah.
almost slice of life of vibe, almost.
It's a cooking anime. It's a
Yeah,
vibe.
but it makes sense. If you are going on your explorations, you need to eat. You can't do those things and be at your top level and have your stomach be gurgling and have no fuel. Like we're a vehicle, it needs fuel.
Yep.
So I kind of like that this is a big part of it because absolutely that would be a big part of it. You can't just, yeah, I'm gonna just go. I'm not gonna have any fluids. I'm not gonna have any food. I'll be fine.
Not a
No,
video game.
no. So
And I do
I like that.
appreciate that our cold open gave us the summary of the world and also the stakes for this party in particular, because they were down in the dungeon in the lower levels fighting this dragon, and because they were so hungry, they were distracted and not performing up to standard.
Yep.
And our main character's sister got eaten by a dragon
And
while
somehow
she
it's
was
still
doing a
okay.
teleport spell to get them out. It's
Yes.
like, oh, you let your white mage get eaten. Oh, that's bad. Half the party quits. The half
Yeah.
that's left is like, so we're broke and it's dangerous, but we got to get back down there because we have to get the body back before it's digested so she can be revived. So I do love that
Real
we're
big.
working on like video game, D&D, etc. mechanics.
Mhm.
I also love that this is our second anime that we're covering where dungeons just showed up. Like, I love that that is a thing
This one is
where
a fantasy world anyways. But
yes.
dungeons, yeah. So
Mhm.
I like that we have that
It's a
variety because otherwise it's not
yeah.
the same. We're like, okay, we just
Like,
saw this.
it's a fantasy world, but monsters are new to it
Yeah,
and
that was interesting.
localized to
Yeah.
this dungeon, and that it's this castle from this crazy
Which is
shining
also in
kingdom
Sword
from
Art.
forever ago.
Uh, though that one,
Sword Art's a video game.
yeah.
That's different.
No, but I was gonna say if y'all stuck around with Sword Art, they have a way later season, Alicization, and there is part of the plot line that monsters are coming in because of a different kind of setting thing from a different area. Anyways, that was kind of a fun spot to hump back in case you were like
That's
earlier
fair.
seasons, but
That's fair.
it's a different vibe once we get to there. So anyway,
That's fair. That is
uh,
fair.
I like the how we get such a different vibe with both these two dungeon shows. So that is nice together because at first you're like, all right, we're covering a few of these at one time, but at least they're very different flavors.
And I do appreciate that Dungeon Meshi, and I am going to be calling it Dungeon Meshi.
Yeah. Mhm.
That is, I've seen so many people talking about this manga for so long. It has such a following to start. And I can't say I agree with Netflix's propensity to translate a title regardless of how much brand recognition it has, because this isn't the first time they've done it. And Dungeon Meshi has a lot of brand recognition,
What
but
did
Delicious
Meshi
in
translate
Dungeon
to?
is, I cannot remember what the other one was. There was a larger existential, not fantasy. I can't remember what it was, but it was this past season. But it's a matter of not recognizing the brand recognition there and translating it. So
Oh,
someone who has maybe heard the name Dungeon Meshi around but doesn't really know what it is might not recognize that it is Delicious in Dungeon. And Delicious in Dungeon doesn't roll off the tongue.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'll be calling it Dungeon Meshi because I'm that person. If you want to call it Delicious in Dungeon, absolutely. That is what Netflix is calling it. That is the dub title. That is 100% valid. I'm just gonna be that person while I'm talking about it.
Well, I have had that problem. I'm like, not quite tangent corner yet, but looking up real quick in my just fingertip search,
Mhm.
meshi just translates to food. So, but also Gohan is food, which I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
So they both mean the same thing, which is cooked rice and or a meal, and so that means it's delicious dungeon food, which I like that title better. So far, that's a more accurate thing because delicious in dungeon just sounds kind of weird.
It's kind of a weird one.
Yeah, it's a weird phrase.
Even just Delicious Dungeon would be. It's got some other connotations, I think.
Yeah, like dungeon food makes way more sense. The big
Yeah.
part of the plot line is dungeon food.
Or
Because there's
even just dungeon cooking.
ooh, I like dungeon cooking. Dungeon cooking would be a better one.
Like
Because
I
it's intriguing. You're like, what is this show?
yeah,
And it
yeah.
really is literally big part of the plot line.
Exactly what it says on the
Yes,
tin. There,
exactly.
and I appreciate them going for the alliteration, but I don't agree with it,
Yeah.
and that's life.
What it actually, I was like, there is, I'm blanking what they translated it to, but in origin secret. Okay. Yes. Okay. So there is a span. I'm like, well, actually, we'll leave that into our recommendations. I'm all, yes. I feel we're done.
Okay,
I was all,
put a pin in
speaking
that.
of,
Put a pin in that.
um, but it leads me into stuff you should check out.
Oh, I wasn't
Um,
done with Dungeon Meshi.
oh, well, we're doing a crossover between it's a tangent corner and stuff you should check out slash title changes. All right, never mind. We'll put it in tangent corner for a moment. Okay, so
Okay,
Netflix
okay.
changing titles that you're like, but why? So
Mhm.
they have a movie called Unknown Origins, which is fine, but it's a Spanish movie. It's from Spain. It's really good, by the way. And that one is Origins. It's like Origin Secreto, so it's more like Secret Origins
Yeah.
versus Unknown because it's about like somebody's doing murders and they're modeling them off superhero origin stories. So
Yo.
like its secret identity made more sense. So unknown origins, I was like, "Ugh, it's so close because just translate it with what the words are. They already have it for you. But anyway,
Is the movie good?
it is. And it's actually really good. Okay, we're staying in our tangent corner for a moment. It's really good. They don't make fun of geeks and nerds the way other ones do because it's more the they make fun from inside the house. Like they make fun of each other, which is like okay of teasing because it's a guy who is like hard cop, like doesn't know anything about nerdiness and has to partner up with the guy who's the comic book nerd because he's like, I
Okay.
don't know any of these things. Why is this whatever it is? And but yeah, all the murders are based on like old school comic book origin characters. And
I
you're like,
had a
oh,
completely different image of what this movie was about.
no, it's I
Because I
mean
was
it
thinking like,
is
oh, it's a world where superheroes are real and someone is doing a thing based on
no.
like their backstories that are unknown to
No.
most people. So how does this guy have this info? Oh no, it's a normal world. But okay, I think I
It's
just
like
pitched a completely different
that.
movie.
There is another one kinda like that, which we'll get to in later when we talk about where you should find us on that. No, because it's more realistic. It's a little more on the Batman level of like what
Yeah,
superheroes are.
yeah.
Like most people, it's adjustments versus like any kind of mutant or genetic predisposition kind of things.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a good one. All right, back to our
Interesting.
odd
Interesting.
title translations.
Yes. So I appreciate that we have stakes here, that we have a time limit, that okay, it's going to take a couple days for her to be digested. Okay, a dragon is huge, so it's probably not going to move as much, so it has a slower digestive system. Like we have time to get back down there, but we don't have much time.
Yeah.
And it really makes me wonder like how are we going to scale this? How are we going to work with this set of stakes but also with this kind of vibe that we've got going on?
Yeah.
And the mechanics of this castle, as it were, this underground castle, where you start at the tip top of it and go down to what is presumably the base floor.
Mm-hmm.
Because the bit that we got from the backstory was if anyone can drive the monsters out, they inherit the kingdom, according to the zombie that disintegrated. So,
Yes.
who even knows, man? I feel like there's more lore and more world building that we can crack open the further we get down there. But I
Probably.
also feel like that's not the important part.
Hmm.
Unlike solo leveling, where I really want to crack that world open like an egg and see how everything works, this one, it's like, oh yeah, I'm sure there's more to it. But I'm really just having fun hanging out and cooking with these characters, learning about all these weird monsters, watching this guy's extremely worrying monster obsession, watching this dwarf's far less worrying knowledge on how to cook them. Like, I am here for this. Again, I watched the dub. The performances were fantastic. So good. The animation has amazing comedic timing, which I feel like you need for an anime like this.
Yeah.
And just I don't know if you can hear my cat. She's very
Jeez.
loud. Yeah, she's stuck in here with me and she's not happy.
Coworker.
Yeah. No, she's down here. Hi. Yeah, I feel like we're going to be in this seems like one of those shows where it's a vibe until the stakes hit, or it's a vibe until the consequences hit. I would not be surprised if we wind up with problems later down the line, but I don't think we're ever going to. Yes, cat. Her name is Winter. If I try to pull her up on my lap, she'll lose her entire mind. So unfortunately, you get no visual. I have photos on my Twitter and my Instagram. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, I don't think we're ever going to lose that cooking anime vibe. And as someone who is still waiting for season 2 of Campfire Cooking in Another World, this is fitting the bill pretty nicely. Like, I think it's going to be nice to do if we decide to do this. We're still deciding which one of these we want to roll with or if we want to roll with both. But I think a shot chaser of solo leveling and dungeon meshi might be a good way to go until Demon Slayer shows back up and runs roughshod over all of us.
Yeah.
In the best of ways, but nonetheless,
Yeah.
Demon Slayer will mess with your heart.
It's like, yeah.
Great shows all around. Anyway, yes, that's all I have to say about Dungeon Meshi so far. It's on Netflix if you haven't seen it. Highly recommended. Do the thing. Very fun.
Then, speaking of recommendations, getting back to that of
Dungeon Meshi and solo leveling, obviously.
Yes. So this is if you're new here, this is a segment of the show where we talk about different movies, books, games, whatever we are consuming of media, and we would recommend to all of you to check out. Over the holiday break, obviously did a lot of different shows and things. Cover that, but we will keep it briefer, new word. So one that I saw that was on, I think it's, and none of this is sponsored, but if y'all want to sponsor us, reach out.
Yes.
The Portable Door is on Amazon Prime, and that I think it's an Australian production, but it's like British characters. Because at first I was like, how have I never heard of this? Because there are some big people in that movie. Sam Neill is in it. Christoph Waltz is in it, and some other people that I was like, oh, I recognize them. And so that was really cool. So it is in that YA fiction vibe, a little bit of magical realism of this guy. Weird things are happening to him, and he's trying to get a job and gets a job at a place where essentially magic stuff exists. I'm like, that's not really spoilers because you get it in the trailer / the visuals, like things are happening. But there are just things going on behind the scenes that he's trying to figure out. And there's also some really great social commentary that I'm like, I don't want to say anything, give stuff away, but I felt that was really interesting with where they go on it. But yeah, it's a very entertaining one. It's on the lighter side of things, so not too heavy, but not fluff. But yeah, like
a good balance.
Solid indie vibes too of like, okay, I hadn't heard of it and I really liked it. So The Portable Door, thought that one was super cool.
And that's a movie?
It is a movie. So
Okay.
yeah. regular movie. I don't think they have a sequel to my knowledge yet, and I don't know if it's based on anything. But it was one of those like scrolling through what to watch. I was like, yes, this cover is
Sure.
my vibe. I will check this out, and I was not disappointed.
Yes.
And I would say something else kind of fun, actually, in that. Oh, I finally got around to the Haunted Mansion, the newer one that just came out. That was so fun.
Good.
It is. It like yeah, it's just what it is, and it was very entertaining as well. That if you've never had seen it, I told my friend was over, and I'm like, I've been meaning to watch this and watch that. Watch the new Doctor Who specials that are over on Disney Plus, which go figure
Okay.
they're on Disney Plus. Um, Also, there's goblins on a lot of different things I'm watching lately. That I wonder if I should be concerned. But yeah, that one. If you're not up to date on Doctor Who, don't worry. You can pop in because these episodes are a little bit like not as based on everything that's happening, so that's cool. And yeah, very entertaining and probably more, which I will recommend over on my channels of things, which we'll get to that in a moment. So, Katie, what about you?
So I mentioned I've been watching Shangri-La Frontier.
Yes.
It's on Crunchyroll. Hang on a sec. I'm gonna let the cat out.
Okay. Actually,
Go, be free. She's
while
not
you do
being
that, real
free.
quick.
Oh no, I just opened my door.
Yes. Oh,
We're done.
but I just saw this. John Knight said, I watched the Elvis movie with Austin Butler. If you haven't seen it yet, you should watch it. Yes, that is an excellent, excellent film. Very entertaining. Uh, okay, there. Well, that's all right then. Yes, yes, that was such a good line in there. Oh okay, spoilers, no spoilers, but if you don't know, you don't know. My goodness, there were a lot of coincidences that happened after seeing that and other things. That was quite the day I had. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" My car stopped on the freeway, but I was thankfully able to get off the freeway when it stopped. But I was like, "What is happening?"
Like, but why though?
Yeah, we don't know yet. They have to do
Ooh.
it more like paid money to figure it out. We don't know. We need you to pay more money to find out. Oh, okay.
Oh, what fresh hell is that mechanic?
I know, right? But anyways, as
Uh-huh.
we're saying,
Anyway, so Shangri-La Frontier, anime, Crunchyroll. Uh, I have been pitching it as what if SAO weren't a death game, weren't an isekai, and focused on the gaming mechanics. It
okay.
is takes place in a, normal modern world, except that fully immersive VR games are a thing.
Hmm.
And our main character, who goes by gamertag Sunraku, so that's, what they refer to him as in like 80% of the show, so that's the name that's stuck,
Mm.
is a connoisseur of trash games. He goes out of his way to find the jankiest, buggiest, worst games he can find and plays them to completion. He's in a community of people who do the same thing. They swap tricks, they frequent the same games. It's fun to watch him play these just frankly terrible games because there's a
Sure.
strategy to it, to trying to work around the bugs, to trying to work around incorrect hitboxes and glitches and
Yeah.
animation problems and AI issues and just, anything that could go wrong in a very complicated game.
Hmm.
Uh, think Cyberpunk before it got fixed. And that's kind of what you're looking at in
Okay.
terms of, oh boy.
Hmm.
So he finishes his latest trash game. He's talking with his game store employee about it, just going on and on. And she goes, why don't you try a good one for once?
Hmm.
There's a game called Shangri-La Frontier. It's considered to be the god tier game. Everything went into this. The AI is amazing. The combat system is responsive. The NPCs feel like real people. Like it's a whole big thing. So he's like, okay, I'll try this good game. And it turns out that he's good at the good game because things are actually reacting and responding, and he is so accustomed to working against the game
Hmm.
that he's built up the skills and the reflexes to be able to work in a good game.
Hmm.
But it also means that he approaches things sideways and backwards and misses some very obvious things and unlocks some secret things on accident. He is just doing his own thing, having the time of his life. It is so, so, so much fun to watch. It has a lot to say about the mechanics of building and playing a game. It has a lot to say about gamer culture, not in that, oh, gamers sort of way, but in like, yeah, people do this and they come from all walks of life. It's, we see his friend who is a fighting game professional play the game and see the way that he approaches it. We see the way other people do things. There is a classmate who has a crush on him and is trying so hard, and she's been playing this game for months, and she's like, I should try and find him in game and like help him through it. But she's such a powerful and well-known character that people are like, oh my god, it's so and so whenever she shows up. It's such a wild anime, and it's just a joy to watch. It is fun to watch this anime go. And I don't always say that about shows. Like, there's a lot of shows that I enjoy. There's a lot of shows where it's like, yes, give me more. I need it in my eyeballs. There aren't a lot of shows where I just sit back and go, oh no, that was fun. That was really fun. It just twigs something in the brain. So, Shangri-La Frontier, we're about, I want to say 12 episodes in at this point. I don't know how long the season is, so I don't know if it's ending soon or if we got a full 26. I have no clue. But it's on Crunchyroll, and I very much enjoy it and highly recommend it. What a great show. Yes.
Looking over the chat, Gigaderic just said, I'd like to recommend critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy 14, which has seized control of my life.
With the such and such expansion and the free month trial and the yeah, I recognize the meme.
Yeah, so let us know what are the things you're watching, reading, all that. Let us know. Another one that I'm only barely into it, but I will hopefully report back at some point of I got the book 1 because there's 3 books in it for Silo, because I watched all of Silo, which is over on Apple Plus, which is really cool. I don't want to say, yeah, it's a post-apocalyptic show. I'm like, yeah. And so I was like, I want the book because the show just ends, and I'm like, that's all we get for world building. And there's already been some things that are very different, or at least I would consider them very different in the book. And I was like, I mean, I understand we're making changes for TV, but this is different. But okay, yeah. And I'm excited to read more of it. So I will let y'all know. And
you watch the show and you kind of go, where's the rest of it?
Yes, that's where I was like, can I get more?
That is fair. I feel
so I went to my library, go to your library, and got the book, which also, I was like, and I got my newest one of nice big color hardcover for this one. We're on 13. Go to your library, everybody. You can get so much free stuff.
I'd also like to say, yes, continue to read. Always read Terry Pratchett. Always read Terry Pratchett. I have done the Discworld spiel on this show so many times, but at this point I will just say he is one of my favorite authors ever. He is one of the only authors to make me put down the book and stop because I was laughing too hard to continue and had to calm down. He is also the only author who has dealt me 300 psychic damage in one go and made me sit there and consider life, the universe, everything, and my role in it. He is an excellent writer. This is probably my 12th or 13th time reading this book in the past few years. This is one that I go back to a lot. Highly recommended. I would say start with Going Postal. But yes, read Terry Pratchett. Read Discworld books. Read them.
Nice. More reading. Derek says, currently reading the Avatar books with Kyoshi and Yang Chen. Nice. All right. I am looking forward to the new show. I was like,
we'll see.
I'm holding out hope.
I cautiously optimistic, I believe, is the phrase, to steal it from my roommate because, I've been burned too many times.
But you know what? The One Piece Netflix was fantastic. So I'm like,
that's very true.
All right. Just, we're holding cautiously optimistic. I like that.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. And hopefully we'll see all of you back here again next week. We like our transitions.
We do our best.
And puns.
We do our best.
We try. And
this is your chance to catch up on Solo Leveling and Dungeon Meshi and join us next week for episode 2 and episode 2, respectively.
Yes. Thank you everybody for joining us here on the Fanversation channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. And Katie, where can people find you online?
You can follow me all over the social medias as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. Things have been a little quiet as of late because, oh God, the holidays. But I am hoping to swing back into things on those channels soon. We'll see how life goes. If all else fails, there are more updates on the social medias.
All right. Kelly Mars in the chat says, thank you, guys.
Thank
Had
you,
the person
Hack.
there. Yes, thank you for joining us. Yay for new people coming in. Woohoo.
Ah.
And you all can find me online at Carrie D Lane. That's KARIDLANE across all the social media webs, all the places. Over on TikTok, which I've moved some of those to Instagram too, but generally on TikTok, lots of other movie recommendations, show recommendations, and just fun random stuff over there. Instagram, Fanversation also has an Instagram and TikTok, so please check those out and give them a follow. And yes, Gig Deck, we back, y'all. Yes, we are
We
back.
are. Episode
And
100 is in 2 weeks.
woo,
I
and we
believe
might
2 weeks. I think we're recording next
pretty
week.
soon.
It's
Yes,
a holiday, but I think
yes.
I
I
think
was
we're
like,
recording.
I think we're doing 100 because this was 98. Yes,
Mhm.
98. 99 should be the 15th. And
Yep.
200. 200.
What year is it?
22nd, 22 is going to be 100, which stick around for that. We might be getting some special guests. So we'll keep you all posted. And then speaking
We
of
make
that,
you no guarantees, but we
yes.
do our best. That's this whole show. We make you no
Yes.
guarantees, but we do our best.
I like that. Yeah.
It's the new tagline. We're retiring Big Monday energy, replacing it with "We tried."
You follow us over on Twitter, NTATMV as well, and we'll share links on that, and then all the other things. And yeah, you know, that would be cool. It's probably going to be remote, but you know, it's your own bar and your own safe space. But we appreciate it.
Having done live productions before, there is a lot that goes into the back. There is so much that goes into the back end of that.
The other thing too is if we get people to come on, being remote does make it very much more enticing for them because then we're like, you could be anywhere. So
having done the in studio, be in this side of the city at this time, and God help you if you're on the other side of the city and have to fight traffic. Like having done that for a good long while, and those of you who've been here for a good long while know exactly what we're talking about. It is much easier to do. Yeah, it's remote. Yeah, you can join from your phone. Yeah, it works. Like it's we live in a world where remote technology is much, much easier than it used to be.
I would love to see all these people in person, but
oh my God, yes.
I'll take what I can get. But yes, we are happy to have all of you peoples joining us live or later. Please comment down below, stay in touch, and stay tuned as we get closer and closer to 100 and beyond.
Yes.
All right. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us, and welcome to all the new folks, and we'll see you next week.
Happy New Year. Be safe out there. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.